All right, what is up, everyone? It is your favorite motorcycle podcast professionals, Tristan and John here. I've been sick all week, but we wanted to get this in before the Daytona 200. As you can see, I am not going to Daytona. I'm going to Jennings this weekend, and it would appear that John is not going to Daytona either. But we're definitely both going to be watching when we can. And man, this one's going to be good. So we had to talk about it. How you doing, John?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good. Just ready to sit on my couch all freaking weekend and watch racing. We got World Superbike, and that was a freaking treat at Phillip Island. Great racing, and we're back in season, man. Who cares about football, basketball? We don't care about any of that crap. This weekend, we are back, man.
Yeah,
Stuck to
I'm
the couch.
back with MotoGP too. Got a fantasy league crown to retain over here, so we'll uh,
Ah, yes.
we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna be busy on Saturday. I get up at 3 a.m., drive 4 hours to Jennings, ride all day, and then when I get to my spot for the night, I guess I got to watch MotoGP practice so I can pick that solid fantasy team.
Yeah, make those adjustments. And by the way, for anybody that's watching, we do run a fantasy team, fantasy MotoGP team, or league, should I say? We have our own teams, but we also run a league, and it's the Florida Moto League in the official MotoGP um, fantasy app. So just search for us in there. We're gonna have a good time. Try and dethrone Tristan this year. I think it's gonna happen. There's just a lot of silly stuff going on already. So I think we're coming for you this time, man. 3 in a
I
row,
feel
can't let you do it.
I feel the pressure this year, man. Now that Greg White and Jason Pridmore have had to buy me some tires, now I feel like I gotta do it again, or I gotta win that helmet this time or something. But I don't know. I feel like it's all gonna fall apart this year. So
Hey, I'm coming for you, man. I gave it a pretty good shot last season too. I mean, it's just so you with the fantasy stuff, it's so crazy because it's about it's what 60% luck, maybe
yeah,
40% knowledge. Because I mean, I've had weekends where all four of my riders were out of the points. I've
yep,
had weekends, yeah, where I went double points on my top guy, and then he freaking crashes right out of the gate.
yeah,
You can't plan for stuff like that. I mean, you can get it mostly right if you're watching the free practices and looking at the stats from last season and everything. But yeah, I love playing fantasy, man. It definitely adds another layer to the sport for me. You get so invested with every round and every session because you have to keep up with everything.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I mean, it's like any fantasy league. There's a lot of luck to it, but so far, last couple years, it's been going my way. So we'll uh we'll just have to wait and see if that continues. But if we can get some people going in the league and stuff, we've been brainstorming some ideas for a prize. So we're gonna try to come up with something. So hop into that, and we'll try to make it worth the winner's while.
Oh yeah, Florida Moto Talk in the official MotoGP Fantasy League app. Just go search, you'll find us.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, talking Daytona 200. Uh, I mean, this year it's the 82nd running of the race, which, if you don't know, it's a 200-mile race that takes course on the Daytona. I don't even know what they call it. Like,
This Daytona International Raceway, oval track.
yeah, but they call it the oval track, even though they don't, or the tri-oval or something. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, um, so it's a 200-mile race, 57 laps on the 3.5-mile road circuit with two pit stops for rear tire and fuel. And historically, it's brought in really, really big names. And I don't know. To me, having grown up watching road racing, it felt like there was a period of time there where it kind of lost that star-studded field, and it didn't seem to be as impactful an event. But I really feel like the last few years, it has started to come back. Uh, with serious vengeance. And this year's lineup is just absolute insanity.
Yeah, the field is just retarded this year. And as you said, even in the past couple years, it's been coming back. I mean, just racing in general is kind of blowing up lately. But man, I'd even say like as far back as, 2021, where we had, yeah, I mean, we could look at past few years of the race. And man, back in 2021, I remember that was such a good race. It went down to the wire between Brandon Posh and Sean Dillon Kelly, just a straight up dogfight. And then SDK ended up just tucking, or well, SDK was out in front, but Brandon Posh did the Brandon Posh thing and just, played it smart and tucked in behind him, and he just timed it perfect where he got the win. And at that time, I mean, we know Brandon Posh now is riding that Daytona in this race, but back in 2021, he was on a Yamaha. He was on the R6. SDK was on the Gixxer 600, and it was just such a close battle. And it's just crazy to think that Brandon Posh was 19 when he won that race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a straight up dogfight. And then 2022, that was the first year that Cam Peterson raced in the 200, and he was on the R6. And that year, Brandon Posh actually, that was his second. Well, he won that one as well. He got the back to back wins with the Daytona 200. But that was a crazy race too. Just Cam was like leading that thing for most of the race, and Josh Hayes was there with him too, just battling. Heron was actually on pole in 2022, and he was right there with him for most of the race too. But he ended up, I think they missed. I think his bike ran out of fuel when he was coming in for the pit stop. And then once they got that figured out, I mean, he was so far back he couldn't bring it back. But I think he ended up finishing like still like top 10, maybe 11th in that
Yeah.
race.
Yeah,
Which,
once they got it fueled up and everything, he couldn't get the bike started again. Is what
mhm,
happened. Was they were sitting there at the end of pit lane and couldn't get it running again. Like ran out of fuel that year too, pulling into pit lane.
the drama, man, is so good. And yeah, that was just another good battle. That year, 2022, it could have went either way. I mean, that was like the typical Daytona 200 finish where you just have just a couple bikes that are everybody's just fighting, trying to get placement, and pretty much whoever's in the right spot, like whoever's in the back of the draft when they're coming back around that oval for the last time. I mean, they'll be in a pretty good position to win. But Brandon Posh just once again was just patient and just timed it perfectly, and ended up beating out Cam, which I mean it was close. It was a close one. Cam got second that race, and then Josh Hayes finished third. But man, it was wild, just a wild one.
Yeah, and side note, my dad actually knew, so Cam Peterson is South African, and my dad actually knew his dad or his uncle, or maybe both of them, because my dad grew up in Africa. So my dad actually knew them way back in the 80s and stuff. And then now I've grown up kind of, well, Cam came over here a little bit later, but now I'm sitting here watching their kid or nephew or whatever doing his thing over here in Superbike and Daytona 200.
That's
Um,
crazy.
but I think Posh won it on an R6, then won it on the Triumph. Or were they
Yeah.
both on Triumphs that he won it?
Mm-mm. In 21, he was on the R6, and then 22 was the Triumph, and then
Okay.
23 last year he ran the Triumph
He was on
again.
the Triumph again.
Yeah,
So
and
in this year, he's on a Gixxer 750.
yeah, yeah, because he's with I think he's gonna be with the Vision Wheel, the X Star guys.
Yep. So
Yep,
let's see if he can win it for a third manufacturer.
that'd be sweet. And even I mean, looking at how last year went too. I mean, last year could have went either way for the finish as well, because it was just like the 2022 finish where you just had a bunch of bikes at the end of the race that were all right there just kind of fighting for placement. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that was man, these Daytona 200s have been bangers. 2024 is going to be a banger too. But even last year, you probably remember. I think there was about 8 laps to go, and Josh Herron tried to make the move on Richie Escalante. Took the
Yep.
inside, yeah, ended up bumping him, just ruined his whole race.
Yeah.
I still remember
Yeah,
that,
and
man.
then they were all worried he was gonna get a penalty.
hmm
Yeah. It's,
And then it was good, man. And then they like interview Herron right after that because the race was red flag for a while, and he's like, yeah, he's like, I've been eyeing that move for a while, I had the opportunity and I went for it, and he's like, he Escalante cut back, and I was there, so he seemed like he wasn't. He seemed he was in the opinion that it was a racing incident. And I'm kind of when you watch it, I mean, yeah, I would probably agree that it was more of a racing incident too. Was it an aggressive move that was like a really late race move? Yeah, but at the same time, there's I don't think it was like a dangerous move or a reckless move. It was definitely
yeah,
an
yeah,
aggressive move. But you got a couple laps to go in the Daytona 200. I mean, you got
yeah,
to do what you got to do, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's professional racing, it's not a track
Mhm.
day.
And then I guess it would be even worse if he didn't go on to win, or if Herron crashed out himself. But Herron went on to win the race
Yeah, yeah,
by a pretty good margin too, by what, 700ths of a second. He won that race, which is a pretty good margin considering like previous years
yeah,
in the Daytona
yeah,
200. It was Herron was first, Josh Hayes grabbed second, Brandon Posh was right there in third, and then Cam P was in fourth. But it could have went either way depending on how they played their cards, messing with the draft and everything.
and I don't think Peterson's in it this year. I don't think he's doing it this year. I don't think either of them are, Gagne
Hmm.
either, because Gagne tried last year and then he got hurt, so he wasn't able to participate in the race.
Yeah, he doesn't typically do it. I got the list right here actually. Man, what better time than just to go through the list just cuz I mean, this year for y'all that are listening, if you watch any motorcycle race in America this year with the AMA, let it be the Daytona 200 cuz this is going to be a banger of an endurance race. But let's go to, I mean, I got the list right here. You have a copy of the list too? I mean, we can look at some of the names that are on this thing cuz it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. The depth is just ridiculous. I mean, you got Xavi Flores, which we haven't even heard that he even has a ride for this season. I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah, but he's
But
going to be riding an R6 coming from
in a
the Ducati.
yeah, but an attack R6 at that. No,
Yeah.
no slouch of a bike. I mean, that's the team that keeps winning the Superbike championship. So they've put a good bike under him. It could be Cam's bike from last year.
hmm Yeah, they're putting, so attack performance is putting Xavi. Man, super sport champ, came from overseas and just ran it, broke all kind of records. And so he's in the race.
Old
Yeah.
hats like Josh Herron, Hayes, uh, PJ Jacobson. He hasn't done it for a while, but he he's not new to the 200, but he's new to the Ducati though. And as
Oh
we know,
yeah.
they've been doing a lot of testing out in at Jennings lately.
Yeah, he's with Ray Hall Ducati with Kayla Yakov, who's also in this freaking race. They're both going to be on the Ray Hall Ducati V2s.
And
And
Corey Alexander.
yeah, man, how many riders they have on this team
they got
going into
they threw 3
like,
riders at this
dude,
team this
what?
year.
Brand new team, for those that don't know. This is going to be their first year racing AMA Ray Hall, coming like from a deep NASCAR background, and they have Ducati dealerships and stuff. And yeah, they didn't spare any sort of expense, it looks like. I mean, they have the young talent with Kayla, and then they got PJ, the old pro, and just throwing them right in the 200. And yeah, I've been watching all the PJ's been putting out all these vlogs and stuff from Jennings. If anybody listening hadn't seen that stuff yet, go watch some of PJ's vlogs, because I mean, you can, man, watching him ride that thing, it's crazy. It's like he's riding like a wild bull around Jennings. I mean, the back end's just stepping out, the bike's screaming. Yeah. That's gonna be a pretty. He's
And
gonna be fast.
people forget PJ Jacobson, former world superbike rider. I mean, he's done it all.
Yeah, he but he's still. I mean, dude, there's still so many names on this list. Goodness, man. I mean, just going down. Oh, Stefano Mesa. He's gonna be on a V2 as well.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
new
we
bike
we
for him.
skipped by Marvin Fritz. He's a world endurance guy. The Yart guys are bringing him over.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a serious team. Big money team right there.
Taylor Knapp, Bobby Fong.
Yep,
Those are
he's
big
gonna be.
names. I
Knapp's gonna
think
be on a 765
Is
too, the
Fong
Moto
still
2.
doing the baggers? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Yep. So then Richie
Yeah,
Escalante, who we were just talking about.
he's gonna be a flyer. Another one with
So
experience there.
we know,
Oh man, look at
yep, we know he's up there.
Nicolo Canepa with the Yart team as well.
Yeah.
That's serious. If you don't know who
Yeah.
this
I
dude
mean,
is,
I don't know if you follow Canepa.
yeah, all his freaking they put up a video him
Current,
and Top Rack.
current, yeah. Yeah. Current lap record holder at Jennings GP. Uh, for years and years now, that record stood. Um,
There's a
yeah, I mean, if
that
you're not
video,
familiar with the name, he knows how to ride a bike. I think he's gonna be okay.
and he's got a video where him and Top Rack are flying around Mugello on some Yamaha R1s, and it is wild. A POV. They just strapped the GoPro to the front of his helmet, and he's chasing Top Rack, World Superbike champ around Mugello. Just yeah. So yeah, he's gonna be up there
Yeah.
for sure. Who else we got? Danny Eslick. He's gonna be on the 765, which I guess,
I mean,
yeah, I guess they're allowing those.
Eslick is always there, man. Daytona,
And
he is always there.
yeah, and funny note with the 765, because what was his name? We were just talking about him from Peter Hickman. Yeah, so Hickman, he just did a podcast with Crothers and Bice. Another good video to go check out too. But he was talking about the 765, the RS, because he's going to be on that bike too. And he said they pretty much, I mean, it's the higher displacement bike, the 765 RS, but he was talking about how they were
Mhm.
had to be detuned pretty much to meet the motor spec for the race. But that's still a crazy, crazy bike to be running. 765 RS.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, Peter Hickman, he was kind of, and his
Well,
number
and people
765,
forget
by the
Danny
way.
Eslick has won the Daytona. Yeah,
Can you hear me? Your audio kind of popped out real quick.
yeah, so I lost you for
There we go.
yeah, I lost you for a second there. But, yeah, people forget Danny Eslick has won the Daytona 200 4 times already. So, I don't think he races full time anymore, unless I'm mistaken, but, he's still definitely a competitor.
Yeah, I mean, it's you have all the pros and the OGs coming back, but then you have these guys coming in from overseas too. They want to get a piece of the action. They've heard about the 200. I'm sure it's a bucket list thing for a lot of these guys. They just want to come over here and try to show us what's up. But hopefully, the Americans represent, man. Because I mean, this is just crazy looking at this entry list. And there's still a
Yeah,
couple that we missed.
Ty Scott, Teague
Yep,
Hobbs,
yep.
Ben Young out of Canada, that kid's fast. Um, Hayden
Brandon Bosch,
Gillum.
of course.
I mean, Gillum was the Stock
Mhm.
1000 and Baggers champion last year.
Gus Rodeo,
Yep.
another freaking flyer, and he's on a V2. Man, these Ducatis are everywhere this year. He's gonna be flying. Another young guy.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was on a V2 as well.
Max Angles, another fast one. He's on a ZX, one of the few ZX6Rs that are running. Another flyer, and a lot of privateers in here as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
shout out to Jessica Capizzi and Jason Farrell. That is a husband and wife pair that are racing on bikes they built themselves too in their shop. Get Fast Performance out there in Wisconsin.
Sweet.
Um, so shout out to them. That's cool as hell.
Yep, and man, really they're freaking brave, man, because they're getting on the track with these guys and freaking and Peter Hickman, man, what a freaking maniac, man. Just to like circle back around to him. I mean, just look at man, it's gonna be a good race with Peter Hickman, Isle of Man TT freaking winner. If you don't know who that is, track specialist out there at the Isle of Man TT. Somebody who just that guy has no fear. He's somebody that I don't think there's anything that could happen at the Daytona 200 that would freak this guy out. I mean, coming from the Isle of Man,
Yeah.
insane. He was talking about the in that podcast where he was with Carruthers, man. He's talking about the Isle of Man too, and he was talking about how to learn the track. He said it'll take about like an hour or so to drive around the TT course, and he said they would just drive it for him. He said it helps him kind of learn the course because they were wondering like, man, how in the world do you learn a course that long? He's like, "Man, we
Yeah.
just get in the car and drive it. It takes an hour to drive it, and we just keep driving it leading up into the race." And he was saying other people will learn it in like sections and stuff too. But it's, I mean, that's just wild to, because I was thinking they just got out there and just they just send it and figure it out as they go. But I didn't think that anybody was actually learning the tracks like that. But he was talking about that and talking about the track, like the road surface and all this stuff too. But it's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
I'm sure video games help too now.
Yeah. I mean, they're that good, especially like thinking about the MotoGP games and stuff too. I mean, they like laser scan the tracks so they can get all like the elevation changes and the divots and all that stuff. I mean, they're not just making them on the computer anymore. So, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, definitely a good tool to learn a track. So, yeah, so what do you think? Who do you think are going to be like your top two? Let's say two, like top two riders that are going to surprise us this weekend.
I mean, with a field this stacked, it's kind of hard for anyone to be a surprise. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many
Yeah,
people on this list who could be winners.
expect them
Um,
all to do good.
I think I think Mesa is going to be up there. I think higher than some people may expect. Um, he never seems to race a Ducati, but he rides them all the time in the off season and at like club races and stuff.
Hmm.
So I think he's a little more familiar with this V2 than most people would think, knowing that he races a ZX6 in the normal Super Sport Championship. Um, so I think, and we know from last year that that V2 can hang pretty well. So I think he's going to be up there. Man, second surprise. I mean, I don't even know if you can call this a surprise, but I think Canepa is going to be up there. I think he's going to be
Yeah.
fighting till the end.
Yeah, I mean, as far as skill goes, you know what I mean? He's going to be at the tip of the spear. I mean, yeah, I don't, it wouldn't be a surprise to me
Yeah, yeah,
if he
that's what I,
shows
it's.
up, man. But he's not, I mean, we haven't seen him on the track, so anything
Yeah,
can happen.
yeah, it's so hard to come up with like a surprise, but now it's your turn.
I mean, looking at this list, this is wild, but for one, probably, and like I said, it probably won't even be a surprise to you, but I'm thinking Ty Scott for a surprise for sure on the Vision Wheel, the M4 Suzuki, just because he had such a good season racing Zavi for us, and I feel
Yeah,
like he learned a lot last season, and he even beat him on a couple occasions, which is like like mind-boggling
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
look at the difference of it, like in experience levels between them. I mean, Ty Scott, man, you can see you can see it in the way that he races, that he pushes and he wants to win, and he's not afraid to get scrappy and fight either. So I think we're going to see a surprise out of Ty Scott, and then my second. And I kind of been hyping him up already, anyways. But my surprise, but I guess not so much of a surprise. Peter Hickman, for sure. Just because once again, all the experience overseas, the Isle of Man racing, dude's just fearless, with all the skill to like back it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, surprise, not a surprise. Hickman on the tuned down 765 RS race bike. I think he's gonna show up and probably surprise us too.
Yeah. So then from surprises, who do you think the podium is at the end of this?
Man, that's harder than figuring out the surprises. Top three podiums. He said, just like with the fantasy league, we have to look at last year's results. Man, gotta look at last year. And Heron, he's gonna be the defending 200 winner. Trying to get him another watch. And that V2, I mean, the way he won it last year with such a pretty good. I mean, in reality, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
a couple sevenths, a couple like 700s is not a lot, but in racing, I mean, that's a pretty good bit, man. I'd say in racing. So, and Heron's going to be back on that V2 again, same team. Hopefully, they won't mess up with their fuel calculations or whatever was going on with that. But I
Yeah.
think Heron, first place, second place. Uh, man, this is hard. Heron first place. I'm gonna say Cam Peterson for second, because he also had a good race, had a good run last season too. Um,
I don't know. Wait, did you see Cam in it? I don't think he's in it this year.
Cam's not running in it.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it's probably Zavi on his spot. Um,
Yeah, I don't
hmm,
see him on here.
okay. Well, let's go Heron first place. We're gonna go Peter Hickman second, and then third.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Second place Hickman. Third. Shoot. I'm gonna say Brandon Posh for third. Be
Okay.
So yeah, Heron, Hickman, Brandon Posh, and Posh. I mean, I don't need to say anything about that. Daytona 200 specialist. He knows how to play the game. He knows where he needs to be to get in position to at least get a good result. I mean, he could take the win
Yeah.
too, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Heron,
I mean,
Hickman, Posh.
yeah, that would be crazy if Posh could win for a third manufacturer now. So I'm thinking my top three, Eslick, because he's always up there. He had a fuel issue a couple years ago, and I feel like I could be crazy here, but I think he had a mechanical last year. Um, but he's always up there until he's had those issues.
Hmm.
And again, four-time winner. I mean, you can't really count him out. I'm gonna say Posh. Oh, and Eslick's also on that Triumph, the TOBC Triumph, and that's already a proven race-winning bike.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go Posh second, like you said. There's not really much that needs to be said there. Won it
Yep.
when he was 19. Won it 2 years in a row. Um, he's on that Gixxer 750 this year. So that thing's got some top end grunt. And then I'm gonna go Hayes, man. He's always up there, but he just
Always.
never seems to get the victory. So I would not be shocked to see him on the podium again.
Yeah. Very, very solid. I guess we will see. Make sure you write those down. Got mine written down over here. And we will see. But I'm pumped. I'm absolutely pumped to watch this freaking race this weekend. Can't wait.
And unlike most racing, the Daytona 200 takes place on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be Saturday. Saturday afternoon.
So I'll be riding myself, but I'll be checking those results when I can.
Yep, Tristan will be back at the track. So if anybody is going to be out at Jennings, definitely swing by and say what's up. Still trying to figure out if I'm gonna get out there or not. Probably come take some pictures or something, but we'll see. We'll see. But
Any
it's
idea
looking
when you're
looking
getting
good.
your suspension back?
I don't know. It was he told when I sent it out to Thermosman. I mean, he said it was going to be at least 3 weeks. I think we're going on like 2 weeks now, maybe. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll hear something soon. I'm waiting to put the rest of my bike back together until I get the suspension back on. So it's kind of holding me up too. But
Yeah,
yeah, race
it'll be
season's
worth
already
it.
started. Yeah, it'll be worth it. But man, we got to go racing. Sweet. Um,
So
but yeah,
should we get back into something we have not done for like a month and a half
yeah, let's
and
do it.
and try to show people some bike deals?
Yeah,
Remember
let's
how
do it.
that was going to be the central thing of this channel, and then our severe racing addiction kind of took over?
I mean, that's what happens, man. Summer. I mean, weather's getting nice. I mean, bringing the bikes back out. It's racing season, track season. So got to work around the riding schedules. But hey, we're still gonna bring y'all some bike deals for sure. We're still gonna squeeze in some bike deals.
Hey, we had someone on the Facebook page not too long ago reach out for some help trying to find a good bike, and
Hmm.
I'm not sure who actually pointed him to one, but I know he ended up very happy with what he found, and
Hmm.
we were able to give him a lot of options to consider and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
join the Facebook page, check that out. We have your normal amount of bullshitting, but we also talk a lot of racing, and we're always down to help someone find a bike because we don't have the money to buy all the bikes ourselves, so we're more than happy to help you spend your money.
Hmm. And that's what we want. And if you got a bike for sale, post it up on the Florida Moto Talk Facebook page. Same thing. If you're looking for a bike, post up what you're looking for. We'll freaking get with the community and find you something good. Just like these deals that we're about to bring to you now. We got two more for you. Um, I guess I got yours already pulled up. You want to do yours first?
Sure.
Nice. Well, let me pull this thing up real quick. And here we are.
So I've said before, I've got my Ducati, my little like princess track bike, and I put my heart and soul into that thing, and it's kind of a bucket list bike for me. So I really don't want to chuck that thing down the road, and I'm getting to the point now where I got to start kind of pushing my limits to or my current limits to find speed. And I don't necessarily want to do that on the Ducati. So I keep flip flopping between, the smaller bikes, maybe an SV650 or just kind of a ratty 600. But this this 300 is a heck of a deal. So it's in Florida, which is perfect for our channel. It was just listed today. He's asking 2,900. I don't see anywhere that says firm. But this bike is ready to go. Um, so it's got the front fork, race tech springs and emulators in it, Bazaz tuning, full exhaust, quick shifter. It's got a 636 master cylinder and reservoir with a Nissan CBR 4-piston caliper. Um, you got Vortex rear sets, clip-ons, brand new chain and sprockets and battery, and it comes with extra bodywork and wheels. This thing is literally buy it, looks like change the oil, check all your safety wiring, and you could enter a Weira weekend on this thing. Um, and for what I'm looking for is something to learn and practice on that's pretty affordable. This is kind of the perfect tool for that. And it
Yeah,
looks
with
good in that green
yeah.
and black.
Classic Cowie Green. And with these race bikes, I mean, you can save so much money just buying a bike that's already been done up. Let somebody else put all the mods and everything on there for you.
Yeah, I don't even wanna know how much he put into this,
Yeah, because
but it was
it's
a hell of a
always
lot more than 2,900.
a lot more than that. And then once somebody's ready to move up or try a different bike, I mean, you get deals like this. You're getting his entire package pretty much. Spare wheels and all.
And I mean, you ride and race this for 2 years, 1 year, and 1 or 2 years basically, and decide to move up or whatever you're doing, and you're gonna get essentially what you paid for it back out.
Absolutely. It's only got 13K miles on it. $2,900. What do you think? Talk him down to like 25.
I'd be more than happy at 25.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy at 29, but yeah, I'd still be pretty happy at 25. Sweet, good find, good deal.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
anybody,
after all the time and effort I put onto the converting the Ducati, and it's not even pimped. I don't have tuning, I don't have quick shifter, like, none of that stuff. The last thing I wanna do again is buy another street bike and convert it.
yeah,
I mean, I will for the right price, but man, just buying something that's ready to go looks so
mhm,
nice.
yeah, ready to go. It's got the track fairing on it. Looks like it's got a little bit of a rattle can paint job, so it's not the prettiest. You don't have to worry if you low side this thing. Pick it up, keep going.
Yep.
Very good.
Exhaust is already dented, pre-dented. I mean,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
pre-dented pipe. It's
It's
perfect.
perfect learning tool.
Oh yeah, and then get all your money back when you get ready to sell it. When you get ready to move up. Sweet. Yeah, good deal. We'll drop the link for that in the description. If anybody's looking for a smaller displacement bike, track bike, which I can personally say, man, the small bikes are so much fun. They carry so much speed. You can do some crazy things on them. Brake a lot harder, at least for me, than I would on a bigger bike. It feels like, but definitely a great learning tool. Shouldn't have showed me that one.
Yeah, I know, the more I look at it,
Shouldn't have
man.
showed me that. Goodness. Yeah, good deal. Sweet. All right. You got anything else for that one?
No, I mean, pretty short and sweet. It's just a good one.
Nice. Link will be in the description if anybody wants that one. And I guess we'll hop over to mine real quick. And here we have a 2007 Triumph Daytona 675. It's on the Weir forums right now, but I've seen it on a couple other places too. And this bike, first thing you're going to see is that it's up in Washington, but the seller has already said that he will help arrange shipping. So we're gonna include it on this episode of Florida Moto Talk because we can get it shipped, and it's such a good deal. Seller will work with you on the shipping, so nothing to worry about there. And looking at the ad and some of the stuff that this bike has done, I mean, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing and is probably a pretty trustworthy seller, I'd say, especially with like the Wira forums. It's the forums for the Wira racing organizations. So mostly everybody that's on here is active racers and just real good people. So you can buy a bike from here and not have to worry about a whole lot. But 2007 675. So this was before they did the body change in 2013 on these. But the motor is there's minor changes in the motors too, but it's still the 675. It's the triple. And just looking at some of the mods that this thing has, show you a picture of it real quick because it is a track bike. Because we're both doing track bikes for this episode. Um, but yeah, a little bit of an older year, but the work that this thing has done, if you're looking to get into a larger displacement track bike, this is just this is a ridiculous deal. But GP suspension cartridges, Olin's rear shock, slipper clutch is put in there. Coolant hoses are done. It's got manual cam chain tensioner, Woodcraft rear sets, captive wheel spacers. Those are going to save you so much time. And man, these captive
Yeah,
wheel spacers, I'm telling you.
If you know, you know.
If you know, man. Switching out tires without those things, my goodness. But quick change kit for the rear. Could even take this thing endurance racing. Quick turn throttle, 520 chain sprockets. It's a race bike, so it's got the elimination, the key elimination, where you start it with the kill switch in the starter. Vortex clip-ons, of course. Brake lever guard. It's got the got the clutch covers, got the engine covers on here, lithium battery. It's even got a tank extender on here. I mean, I'm getting out of breath going through this list. I mean, this thing's got everything, and it says it's safety wired for two of the larger race orgs that we have, and complete with woodcraft frame sliders. So this thing right here is pretty much just a weapon. If you're looking to get on a sport bike, 600cc sport bike, 675, this triple right here. I mean, this thing's an absolute weapon. And I don't even think I mentioned the
Yeah.
price, but he's asking $4,100 right now for this thing. Did you hear the parts list? $4,100. I'll split this bike with you right now if you want to use this thing for the Florida Moto Talk endurance racing bike that we have in the works. Or we can just save the cash and just use my bike. But this thing right here, man.
I mean, that's a
Whoo.
$2,000 shock alone.
Yeah, easily. Look at the bling on this thing. GB racing covers is completely set up to go racing right now. Probably don't even need to change the oil on this thing. Looking at the amount of work that it has done, it's probably ready to rock right now. But
And I
man, I mean,
I like the look of the older Daytonas, the 675 over the 756. I think it's a better looking bike, in my opinion.
it is. I mean, yeah, the Undertale exhaust will always have a special spot in my heart.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
always. And this was probably the best looking bike in my opinion with the Undertale as well. Before they started getting away from that and going back to the shorty pipes. But y'all know I love the Daytonas. You know I love that triple 300 that 3-cylinder 675cc triple that just whistles like it has a turbo, and then it's just got that deep throaty exhaust note. I mean, what more could you want? It's a bike that's fully set up, and then it has the motor that it gives you the fun, and then it gives you that soul revving freaking sound out of the engine with the reverberations and everything. But yeah, if you were looking to run B class, C class, and you got $4,100 and probably a couple more, maybe about $400 or $500 set aside to get it shipped down here to Florida, this is an absolute weapon.
Yeah.
Absolute weapon.
Yeah.
I'll drop the link in the description, and hopefully somebody that's watching beats me to this thing, so I don't just keep just wasting all my money on motorcycle stuff. I mean, everybody saw my video about how much I'm spending on my freaking current bike.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't need to
It's not
spend any more cash.
it's it's not bad though, man. You when you think about it, your bike's probably a lot quicker than mine, and you got a lot less in it.
Yeah, it's for a 13636 with just bolt-ons, and a tune. It runs pretty freaking hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty
Mine's
hard.
20 years old now.
Pretty
So,
reliable. But yeah, we'll see. I'll probably get one more season on that thing. Then I don't know, man. I might have to go get me another Daytona. We'll see. Because these things keep popping up, man, and it's getting harder and harder to just look at them.
yep. Yep.
I
I
mean,
know it,
this is
man. That's
crazy.
why I'm on the 20-year-old Ducati.
Yeah, I mean, this is
The
crazy,
heart
man. You're
wants what the heart wants.
For all you married guys out there, I mean, this thing's $4,100. Wife can't even get mad at you at that point, man. Guys are going out here spending 10 grand, 15 grand. I mean, $4,100. This bike has everything you'll need done. But yeah, that's all I got for that one. You got anything else for this one?
No, no. It's it's a pretty bike.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's all I have. So we'll drop the links in the descriptions for these if anybody wants to check them out or pick them up. I'm sure the sellers will really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you're at Jennings this weekend, come and find me. Especially if you're in intermediate, I'll be filming all weekend. Um, so if I can keep up with you, I'll try to get some footage for you.
Very cool. And like I said, I might pop up. It's up in the air now, but I might pop up with the camera. We'll see. Um, be out of town for a little bit as well. We recently had a really good buddy pass away this past weekend on a sport bike. Had an accident on the street, and just want to take a second to remind everybody too. All you street guys, just be safe out there, right? Wear your gear, and just pay attention. I mean, it's a dangerous sport, but we have to make it as safe as possible. So everybody that's out there riding the street, man, y'all just take an extra second to look both ways and just try to be safe out there because it's um it's really dangerous riding, especially living in Florida, and these accidents can just happen out of absolutely nowhere. So
Yeah.
everybody, yeah, be safe for sure, and hopefully we can all keep on riding and enjoy the summer.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's all I got, man. I guess we'll see everybody on the next episode. Hope everybody enjoyed. Hopefully we can get y'all on some good deals. Leave any comments, any questions down in the comments, and
Keep an
we'll
eye
be
out. We got another pro racer interview coming up in the next couple weeks.
working on that, and hopefully we can, we'll get together and do a Daytona 200 post race video just to see how our predictions panned out.
It's so
Mm.
unpredictable.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, everybody have a good week, have a good weekend, enjoy the races, and we will be back next time.
Ride safe, guys.
Yep.